Alright everybody, we're going to go ahead and get another batch of colloidal gold going for today. To get started, I'm going to make some sea salt, NaCl, and we're going to use it down into a solution so that I'm able to measure it out in the small quantities that I want to make a batch of colloidal gold. So I went ahead and I got my sea salt measured. I used Celtic sea salt this time because of its high purity. Last time I used Himalayan sea salt to make my solution. That may have been one of the areas that I was getting contamination from. So everything has been washed with distilled water many times. We've got 0.75 of a gram of Celtic sea salt here. Just gonna pour that down into our bottle. And then I've got 250 milliliters of distilled water in my beaker measured out. So pour slowly when you're doing these things. 250 milliliters of distilled water. And that is it for our solution. And the reason is so that we're not trying to add granules of salt to a liquid solution and measuring in that way, which could be difficult. So when we put it into liquid form, we're able to use exact milliliters and get a much better measurement. Okay, and so that is it to get our gold going today. We had to get that done. I went ahead and made my sodium citrate last night, measured it down and done the same similar thing. So on my last video you can see that, but we will get this cleaned up, get this mixed up. I'm going to cap it, shake it for about 5 minutes. That'll be done, and then we'll get the rest of the process started. Thank you. Alright guys, we are finished up with cleaning up, getting everything ready. We are going to start the process. So to do that, I went ahead and measured out 1,000 milliliters. I'm going to start with excess, that way if I have to pull any off, it's already pre-mixed. So I've got 1,000 milliliters of distilled water. Everything's been cleaned multiple times with distilled water to remove any potential of contaminants. 1,000 milliliters, and we're going to go with 80 milliliters pre-measured out of our sodium citrate, and we made this in our past video. So we'll just add that to the beaker. Yeah, probably going to be too much. 80 milliliters of that. Then we're going to go ahead and add our 20 milliliters of soda. That was sea salt. That was the 80 milligrams of sea salt. This is 20 milligrams of sodium citrate. 20 milligrams sodium citrate. Okay, then we're going to go with our 16 drops of corn syrup. And to make the corn syrup, I mixed 30 milliliters of corn syrup with 20 milliliters of distilled water. We're just going to make sure it's really good and mixed up. So, our 16 drops. Drops of corn syrup. So it looks like we're going to have a pretty good amount once we get our stopper in there. It's not too big of a worry until the solution is spinning and starts to do a rolling boil. The rolling boil will create too much pressure, and so then we run into an issue with space. There's an ant on the stopper lid. I have ants. So we're going to take out a little bit of it, but I'm going to go ahead and mix it up. Got our magnetic stirrer there. Okay. Now, I was going to go ahead and do the Tyndall effect with just the distilled water, but we'll just do a Tyndall effect now with our solution. So, if you look, I'm not sure if you can see, but there is zero visibility. According to the Tyndall effect, that means that there are no colloidals in the solution. So a colloidal will have a metallic substance, so that will reflect off any light as it passes through the solution, creating a way that the beam can be seen. But you see none. We'll do that afterwards though to measure the nanoparticle size and amount in the solution once we're done. So we're going to let this start heating up. I will have to pull out probably about 20 milliliters, 20 to 40 milliliters, just to give us enough space. But I haven't got it down packed on just how much to use just yet. I'm trying to get as much of my gold rod in solution as possible. Using my improvised colloidal gold rig, it's not the best for gold being submerged, so I'm just trying to work with what I got. But we will get this heated up. Once it's there, we will pick back up with the video and show you the process from there. Thank you. Alright guys, so we got everything mixed, cleaned up. What we're doing now is just getting it up to temperature. So I've got the heat on, got the magnetic stir. I haven't started the power yet. We'll wait until it's at the 90 degrees Celsius before we're there. So it's at 31 degrees, 32 degrees right now. It's going to take probably 20 minutes to heat up, 30 minutes maybe. But I went ahead and got everything set up. So we have our black negative on the anode, the copper rod here. We have our red wire on the cathode, the gold cathode here, that's for the positive charge. And the solution is going to be what's carrying the current. And so we're using distilled water, check it all out, 0 parts per million. And once this is up to room temperature or up to boiling temperature, then we'll hit it with some current and we'll start the colloidal gold process. Alright, that's going to be it for now. Alright guys, so we've got the temperature up to the 87, 88 degrees Celsius. We'll check it one last time, 86.6. But you can tell the rolling boil is what we're looking for. We're also going to run the Tyndall effect one last time, just to see if we can get anything in solution that shouldn't be there. Air bubbles, no particles, anything like that. Next step is going to be to cut on the electricity. I'm just going to do one quick last check, make sure all the wires are clear. Got a little bit of water coming down because of the steam coming out of the stopper. Wires are all good, everything's clear. The rods are also symmetric and are not having any form of contact, because that does matter. I'm going to catch a little bit of that water and we're going to start the electricity. So within the next few minutes, we'll be able to notice a change in the color here. So we haven't quite got to the 37 volts yet that we're looking for. The amperage is maxed out at 0.625. Watts are 20, jumping around 2022. So the reason that it's maxing amperage right now is because there's not enough conductivity in the solution to hold the desired 37.5 volts. So the amperage is at its max, what we've got it set at, and it's still not able to cap out to maintain its desired 37.5. So it's going to play around for the next little bit until enough metal particles come into solution to give it enough conductivity to carry the 37.5 volts on the 625 amps. Once it does, and the metal particles continue to get into the solution, then the amperage will be able to go down to maintain the 37.5 volts. So as the solution changes conductivity, it takes less energy to hold its charge. That's my basic explanation, and I hope it's correct. I could definitely be wrong. So in my next system, I'll definitely have it set up so that I have a steam release point. With this one, it's more designed for the colloidal silver, so I haven't really got it specially tuned in for gold just yet. But it's a work in progress. This will be my 6th or 7th batch. Now you can kind of see the color changing in the solution already from the clear distilled water. Is a fascinating process. So we're now hitting the 37.5 volts from time to time, but it's still not able to hold the charge. So again, as that current in the water, in the solution changes, it'll be easier for the machine to keep up. Check the temperature. You can really see the pink hue coming. 85 degrees Celsius. I mean, we're what, 4 minutes in probably? We started this at 7:07, 7:08, I imagine. So we're just a couple of minutes in so far. Already got a beautiful color change. So I like to live stream through the process so that you can see real time the color change in the solution. We try the Tyndall effect now as we catch some of those water particles. And you can see already that Tyndall effect is now visible. Isn't that fascinating? Those are nanoparticles of gold spiraling around in solution. Science. Alright guys, I'm going to give you a quick update on it. We're about 18 minutes into the process, and as you can tell, color has changed dramatically. We're going to do a quick test with the Tyndall effect with a red laser just to see what the beam looks like. You can tell it's holding its consistency through the whole solution now. It's a good sign. Just going to check the temperature, make sure it's still holding where it needs to be. Update on the electricity now. We're able to hold the 37.5 volts, and the amperage has went from 0.625 amps down to now it's fluctuating between 4 and 5 amps. That's because the conductivity of the solution has changed, and even the wattage required. So it's requiring less electricity for us to get our desired 37.5 volts is what we want. So we're a little over halfway through the process. We're going to give it about another 11 minutes, 10 minutes, and we'll see how it looks. But from here, this is definitely a lot better color than we had last night. It's truly beautiful. And it is because I had more solution in the beaker, which made more gold actually be in the solution to create that better quality. Alright guys, so here we have the almost finished product. We're at 33 minutes, 34 minutes in. I let it go a couple minutes over. We're just going to check everything one more time before we cut it off. Check the Tyndall effect. See a nice pretty laser coming through there, through the solution. You can see it's holding its beam through the whole thing. That's a good sign. We'll go ahead and take the heat down. Cut down the electricity. Off. You saw the volts was at, I should have checked that, but yep. So we're going to go ahead and call that a batch. So the next steps will be, I'm going to take this, let it cool down, pour it over into my pour glass. From the pour glass, I will take my funnel with some cheesecloth in it, set it into there, and just pour it, boom, and that's how we filter it down into our nice storage bottles. That will be the second batch of colloidal gold. This one turned out so much darker in its color. We should be able to test and show you a difference here. So this is from yesterday's batch. That's from today's batch. Much deeper ruby red. This is a good product. This just means that there are less nanoparticles of gold in the solution. Maybe if I cooked it longer at less heat, it might get to a darker red. This really is the product that we're looking for. So troubleshooting the gap in the solution so that more gold is exposed to the process is definitely going to be the way going forward. Clear difference in the final results. So that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for tuning in.